Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. For today's reading, I want to do a soul tribe reading. I wanted to check in with my soul tribe. I also have this beautiful deck about inner child healing and connecting with your inner child. So I wanted to use it with you guys. I know for me, a vital part of my journey, or an important part, I'm not sure which word to use, has been connecting with my inner child. Connecting with my inner child is what led me to tarot. Connecting with my inner child is what has really helped me to heal. And I know that I talk to you guys a lot about getting in touch with your inner child meditations, where you go into your past and you meditate and relive a situation where perhaps you experience trauma, and you kind of go back and you sit with your inner child in that situation. You tell them it's going to be okay. In some meditations, you actually take your inner child's hand and lead them out of that situation. How can I explain it? It's like, imagine you're going through a hard time as a child. You have a hard moment that you went through. You go back, you sit down next to yourself, and as this moment is happening, as you're, for me, one of them was I was being screamed at, by my parents. And I went back and I sat with my inner child, and as I was reliving this moment of trauma, I was imagining sitting there with myself, telling myself, none of this is your fault. You don't deserve to be screamed at. None of this is your fault. You're none of the things that this person is telling you that you are. It's a very emotional thing, and it's very freeing. Anyway, I've been missing my soul tribe readings. So some of you know that I did a reading a little while ago. I believe it came up in a pile 3 of course, about gifting something to your inner child. And it's funny that that came up at the time, because I had just gotten the urge to give something to my inner child, and I could tell I needed to do it because my experience, here comes the ranting. I mean the channeling. I knew that I needed to do this for my inner child because the universe started sending me signs. So when I was a kid, I was very attached to some of my stuffed animals. I actually only have a very small amount of my things from when I was a child because of what I went through in my teenage years, group homes, in and out of random apartments. I lost almost everything. And one of the 2 things I have is, they're both black and white dogs, black and white stuffed animals that I've had since I was a baby, or one of them is since I was 7. Anyway, it's not important. But all of my life, I've remembered this stuffed animal that I had. And I remember during times of like being scared, hearing yelling, I remember comfort from this animal. And I can remember, like, I have very clear memories of sitting rubbing the ears of this animal and the feet of this animal. And a few years ago, when I first started spiritually awakening, I started thinking about this pig. It was a little stuffed pig, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I looked it up, and of course, it's like a vintage toy now because I'm old. And it was like $350, and I'm like, that's insane. And I was just like, that'll never happen for me. Like, never will I, never, never, ever. And I kind of forgot about it. Like, I kind of let go of the thought of ever being able to have that little pig again. And then in the last little while, everywhere I went, I was seeing little pigs, little stuffed pigs that reminded me of this pig. And like, that looked very similar, and they were popping up everywhere, pigs everywhere. So then I went online, and in the last few years, people have become more reasonable about vintage toys. And I was able to find it. And I told you guys that I put in a bid. I spent $80 on this pig. I can't even believe I spent $80 on a stuffed animal. And then it was on eBay, and I was so afraid that somebody was going to get my pig that I outbid myself. I went in at the last minute and bid like extra money and outbid myself. But I mean, that's how much it meant to me. That's how much it meant to me and my inner child. And, you know, my sister and my partner were great. They encouraged me to do it. Anyway. So in that reading, I know I talk. In that reading, it was about if you gift your inner child something, you will receive a gift from the universe. So anyway, I thought it was interesting, the timing of that. My pig finally came. My pig finally came. And I can't tell you how like nostalgic it makes me feel to look at this pig because, and I know it's not my pig, but it's just something that I never thought I would see again. I feel like it was something that brought me a lot of comfort during hard times in my childhood. And for me, that was worth it. And anyway, I find healing the inner child very important. But I'm going to show you the pig. And people said to me, how did you know? Like, how could you find that pig? So here it is. Anyway, and he's in amazing condition. He just has a couple holes and I can sew them. He was a boy, of course, because all of my animals are boys for some reason. And I have memories of like sucking my thumb and rubbing they're silk ears. Anyway, I am in love with this pig. It's a little pink plaid pig, and I believed I called him, you can see a hole right there. I believe his name was Pinky. And it's funny because as I grew up, I really hated the color pink. It wasn't until I spiritually awakened that I opened myself up to the color pink. I'm serious. And now I have like pink sweaters. Anyway, people asked me, how in the earth did you find that pig? Like, how would you even begin to find a stuffed animal from like 40 years ago? And I remembered the tag. Like, I spent so much time with this pig and I remembered the tag. I've never forgotten this tag. Anyway, that's my piggy. Isn't he cute? Isn't he adorable? Anyway, and do you hear how happy I am by this little pig? Like, this pig makes me so ridiculously happy. And there's no logical explanation for it. Now I'm crying. And I used to use things like alcohol to feel happy like that, you know? Like I can't tell you how much joy this little pig brings me. Anyway, so my first suggestion to you is to think about how you can do something or give something to your inner child. Anyway, I'm just gonna wipe my face and we are going to begin. So on the bottom we have, and these have been shuffled and everything. We have 10. Disappointment is not the end. There is hope even in the darkest of nights. And this made me think of, for some reason, it made me think of Lord of the Rings and the conversation between Frodo and Gandalf, which is why I have there is always hope in this like Lord of the Ring-ish text on my arm. I got that done, I don't know, 18 years ago to remind myself, so that I had a constant reminder to never give up hope, no matter how dark life got. So we'll just start off by reading this card. I am going to leave this open to spirit, so we're just going to see what spirit wants us to know today. So it's on page 18, Divine Feminine Energy, Moon Energy. So for some of you, maybe you're going through a time of fear. Listen to the birdies. Do you see? I used to drink alcohol for thrills, and now I get thrills from the birds chirping. And that's, to me, the beautiful part of this journey, is to find beauty in those types of things and happiness in those types of things. Anyway, the world is so beautiful. We really do take it for granted. I feel like a Disney princess. The birds are backing me up here. Disappointment can be a difficult emotion to experience, and afterward, it can be hard to have hope again. It is okay to be disappointed. Disappointment is an aspect of life that is inevitable, and being human is a messy journey full of twists and turns. We do the best we can with the knowledge we have, but not everything turns out as we hope. In truth, no disappointments or mistakes make us any less of the beautiful, wonderful people that we are. If you have pulled this card, it might be a sign that the fear of disappointment is hindering your path. Practice courage and acceptance. There is always hope, and happiness is waiting for you just ahead. The acceptance exercise. If you feel fear around disappointment or have experienced disappointment, those birds are so loud. If you feel fear around disappointment or have experienced disappointment, then it might be good practice developing acceptance around it. If we are unable to accept that a disappointment has occurred, it can cause prolonged pain. By avoiding the reality of our disappointment, it may feel as though we are protecting ourselves from pain, but it will ultimately hinder our ability to go after what we desire in the future. Try to accept that disappointments will come and go, and know that you are strong enough to try again. Do not let disappointment or the fear of being disappointed stop you from living your glorious life. Journaling prompt. Maybe we should all start journaling together. When you think about disappointment, how does it feel in your body? Do you experience feelings of anxiety and fear? Ask your inner child how they feel about disappointment and if there's anything you can do to help them to feel more accepted and loved around disappointments. All right, so let's get into it. We have take time to remember, look back on your childhood. And I was talking about revisiting moments in your childhood, you know, not only bad memories, but the good ones too. And what were you doing? What was it that made you happy? Can you recreate that, you know? I love the artwork on these cards. Like on the top, just this image. Anyway. So I'm going to talk to you guys for a minute while I'm shuffling about the power of positive thinking and affirmation, and an example that I used a while ago where I used these bamboo trays from the dollar store to store cards. And I used to go and I went one time, and because it's a dollar store, you know, they don't have them anymore. And they had 5, and I thought, I'll never be able to fill 5 with tarot cards. But my higher self said, just buy all 5 of them. And of course, I'm out of them. So yesterday, I got the bright idea to order some online. And I was like, oh, I'll just order 5. And my higher self was like, order 15. And I'm telling you, whenever my higher self tells me to do something, I listen now, because I tell people, and I was talking to my partner about it 2 days ago, my higher self 2 years ago was telling me to invest in all of these cards for absolutely no reason, like just no reason. Anyway, so this is what I mean about the tray. I've run out of room for my cards, and I like to have them where I can see them. Anyway, so like I said yesterday, Doesn't make logical sense to me why I need to order 15, but my higher self knows something I don't. So I listen to my higher self. They're just cheap little bamboo trays. I have no idea what the point was of that, but there you go. Anytime I say that, someone's like, that was symbolic to me. Oh, maybe you're someone who's looking for storage for your tarot cards. I'm telling you, this is perfect. It fits. Just look up bamboo tray organizer and you can buy them. Like I said, the dollar store had them for a while, but you can fit 9 decks in them. And it's a great way. I don't find that it makes the decks curved in any way, and I can have them all out. I have them, you know, surrounding me so that I can just easily grab them during readings anyway. I have no idea what's happening right now. I do not sell the bamboo trays. This is not a sales pitch, I promise. I am not a salesperson. As you can see by my lack of pushing sales. When I first started my channel, I had a jewelry company approach me, and for me, if I'm not 100%, I did do it, but then, you know, the things they were saying about the jewelry was that it wouldn't tarnish, it was silver, and it wasn't, and it was like, do I really want to make people spend money on a ring that's going to tarnish? I don't think so. So for me, it's important it's interesting that this came out. To me, it's important to say yes to the right opportunities and what feels good for you. I'm not someone, like, again, my higher self said, don't sell something that you wouldn't buy yourself. Anyway, there's also, you know, the energy that the more you say yes to things, the more opportunities present themselves. But like I said, make sure what you're saying yes to is aligned with your higher self. Because if you're doing it for the wrong reasons and it doesn't align with your higher self and it makes you feel icky, it's not going to bring you fulfillment. Anyway, 30, Empress energy. Now is the time to be open and receive. And we have this very strong castle here. The castle is symbolic of foundation. We see the moon, divine feminine energy. We see the rose, symbolic of, I actually don't know the actual meaning of a rose, but to me it symbolizes beauty, compassion, finding beauty within yourself. And we see this wall that's been built, this rock wall, and now there's an opening. So it feels to me like maybe your foundation, maybe you've been working really hard on your foundation and now this gate is opening to abundance, to all these opportunities. The birdie says, heck yeah. I'm hearing that ever since I mentioned the rose, I'm hearing the song from Beauty and the Beast in the very beginning where she's walking into town singing. Being truly open to life can be a bit unnerving. There are so many possibilities and unknowns, and we could never analyze them all. While there is much wisdom in weighing the options before us, sometimes they will be aspects of the future that we can never truly know until we walk that road. It is in these moments that we have to take a leap of faith and say yes. If you have pulled this card, now might be the time to open up and receive. If we are not open to the many good things in life, they can pass us by. Practice saying yes to what you know will help you grow. There is abundance all around us. Sometimes we just need to make space for it to arrive. And the journaling prompt, how does it feel in your body when you say yes to something new? How does it feel not knowing the outcome when you say yes? If it is a negative feeling, what is something you might be able to do to feel more positive about the unknown? All right, so let's see what we need to hear, my friends. Let's get into it. What do we need to hear? You do not have to go it alone. Reach out for support in this time. On the bottom of the deck, it is never really the end. Interesting. 43, love you. And the birds love you too, apparently. It can be a tricky thing to navigate the spaces between independence and reliance. For many people, as they were growing up, independence might have been worshipped as the highest standard of personal character and personal achievement, and reliance on another may have been seen as a weakness or being overly needy. While it is good to take responsibility for ourselves, we were never meant to walk in this life in solitude. If you have pulled this card, then it is time to be honest with yourself about what you need at this moment. This card might also indicate that it is time to seek professional help as well. Self-care exercise. Your needs are not bad, but rather a normal part of being human. If during childhood you were not allowed to have certain needs or feel certain emotions, you might have felt safer making yourself less. It's okay to make your needs known and to take up space. You do not have to separate yourself or go it alone. Take steps to connect with trusted friends and family and let them be helpful to you. They will be happy to do so and will most likely feel fulfillment and joy in being of service to you. Journaling prompt. Is there anything holding you back from asking your needs to be met? If so, how can you take steps to ask for help? Now, I'm going to talk about this card and detach myself from it for a minute. Because this is exactly what I mean. If during childhood you were not allowed to have certain needs or feel certain emotions, you might have felt safer making yourself less, playing small, hiding your emotions, not asking for help, overgiving, not giving yourself enough. And, you know, this card is talking about you don't have to go it alone, you know. If you're feeling sad and you need support, ask someone you trust for support. Ask someone you trust to listen to you. I'm trying to detach myself from this card, like I said, for a minute. Sometimes all we need is for someone to hear us, you know, and I tell you guys all the time, my partner has no idea the things I believe in. But when I truly feel overwhelmed and like I need to talk about something, I tell him that I need that. He listens, you know. This is an energy of feeling like you have to be able to take care of yourself, feeling like it's weak to ask for help. Maybe you're someone who was taught that if you're not working, you're being lazy. If you're not making money, then what is the point? Like work, work, work. The thing that I want to touch on here is that when this wound comes from your family, from your childhood, the thing that I want to point out here is that, how do I say this? This card is saying, take steps to connect with trusted friends and family. They will be happy to do so and will most likely feel fulfillment and joy in being service to you. And you know, for example, I know that I can go to my partner. I trust them. I know that I can go to my sister. I trust that. But if you take that to someone Like if you have a wound from your childhood because you felt like your parents, you have a childhood wound from your parents. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time talking about this. Going back to that source to ask for help can sometimes not be, if they're not healing, it might not be the best person to ask for help. And the reason I'm telling you this, it stresses in here, trusted. And this is just really reminding me of when I started healing. And why am I flipping the page? I was in therapy and I was being told to voice my needs with my parents, and that happened in 2021 or 2021. And why am I having such a hard time with this? By me going, I felt like I needed help in my life, and by going to the people who made me afraid to ask for that help in the first place, I made an error. I can say now maybe it all happened for a reason, but I felt like I made an error because I went to the source. And in my spiritual journey, I ended up saying, it wasn't even my spiritual journey at that point. I took the steps to, I felt like I was going at it alone in my life. You know, my parents lived 10 minutes away from me. I felt like I needed family support, which I had never really gotten in my family. And when I asked for it, like my therapist said, you know, all you can do is ask for it. And when I asked for it, I was met with anger, and I haven't spoken to my father since. So trusted friends and family, okay? Trusted. I will say, I'm not trying to be a downer, you guys, I'm so sorry. But part of this spiritual journey is, for me, you have to be careful about who you share it with in what depth, because not everybody believes in it. And when you're spiritually awakening, you're like a little baby bird, and you're very impressionable. And I don't mean you're impressionable. I mean anyone who's starting out on this path. It just takes a little influence from someone to scare you out of it, is what I mean. Anyway, I'm going to move on because I feel like I don't know what happened there, but I wanted to say, like, you don't have to go it alone. Just make sure you have trusted people that, you know, will catch you, is what I'm saying. Anyway, oh my gosh, I don't know where that came from. A time to remember. We saw that when we were shuffling. Look back on your childhood. I'm like, my ego is so bad right now. I'm like fighting the urge to apologize. I'm not going to do it, ego monster. I'm not going to do it. I will not give you a cookie. Okay, so this is number 1, first card in the book. It's on page 1. A photograph can be a powerful tool when working with our inner selves, as it can bring to the present the memories and feelings associated with our childhood. This can be especially beneficial practice, particularly when working through harmful patterns or beliefs that we might have regarding our childhood self. Gather multiple photographs of your younger self, reflect on each one, and choose the image that you feel most drawn to. Once you have your photograph, take some time to gaze at the image, observing yourself in a neutral and non-judgmental way. Try to think of yourself as you would think of any other child, as a precious treasure. Separate from any memories of who you were then and who you are now. Now that you have this viewpoint in your mind, bring a feeling of love into your heart. Hold the photograph in front of you and let this love build up inside you for your childhood self. Send the love you feel inside of your heart to the picture of your younger self. Oh my gosh. Hang on. Send the love you feel inside of your heart to the picture of your younger self. Tell yourself that you love yourself and that you are perfect the way that you are. Whatever it is that little you is yearning to hear, tell yourself in a voice of love. It's so interesting that I was talking about those meditations. Journaling prompt. What thoughts and feelings does the image of your younger self bring up inside of you? Do you feel any blocks inside of your body or mind when you practice this exercise? If you have strong negative feelings associated with childhood or your child's self, this can be a difficult practice. Yeah, listen to the person who's crying over here. While this exercise can be incredibly healing, only go as far as you feel comfortable. Again, listen to the person who's crying over here. And this is what I mean about inner childhood healing. It's almost, to me, it's been the key for my own healing. And it's funny because when I think about, as soon as I read this, the image of me that popped into my mind was, I'm like standing in my living room, arms up. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I kind of look like a rock star. I think I'm wearing a figure skating skirt. I can't remember. And I just look so free and happy to be me. And I know what came after it wasn't so great. And it caused me to never feel like that person again. I might even post that picture of myself, but to me, that's my guiding light of who I truly am. Like before life happened, I was someone who had a voice and was silly and laughed all the time and things like that. Anyway, clearly, this is what I mean. Inner childhood healing, it is hard. I'm crying even just talking about it. Anyway, treat your inner child. That's what I say. Buy yourself a coloring book. Buy yourself a box of crayons. Remember how satisfying it was to get a box of crayons? All the new crayons? Buy yourself a freaking box of crayons. The biggest one they have. And a coloring book. And stuffed animals. And, you know, figurines. I don't think I've shown you guys my horse. And connecting with my inner child, that's where my giggle comes from, you know? And people tell me, are you on drugs? No, I'm just high on life. Let's get another one. What do we need to hear, Spirit? You know the way. Trust your intuition on this journey. Trust your intuition. Wasn't I saying about... I was talking about just if you get weird urges to invest in something like tarot cards or tarot card trays, maybe there's a reason. You know, they say your inner child is the one that holds the key to your soul path. Your inner child knows what your soul path is if you can connect with your inner child. I actually think I'm going to get one more card. This is the final card in the deck, which I always find magical. Hang on, I'm wiping. I have no shame. I'm wiping my nose on my sleeve. Hopefully you can't see. In this life, there will be many voices telling you the right way to go. They can be confusing and sometimes contradictory, pointing out all of the intersecting paths that you could take. Just know that this life is yours and yours alone. No one else can tell you the path that is yours to walk, for only you know the way. If you have pulled this card, then know that you are going in the right direction. In addition, this card might also mean that you need to listen to your inner voice now regarding a future decision. Take some time to reflect on the voices that you might have been listening to. Is there one that is drowning out your own? Set aside some time today to connect with your inner voice and intuition. There are many different ways in which you can do this, and each person will be unique in how they receive their inner guidance. Go somewhere with minimal distractions and begin to reflect upon the question, decision, or choice that is before you. Notice how your body feels when you think about each option. Is it tense or relaxed? What do you feel when you think about each option? If you can, close your eyes and imagine each scenario playing out in your life. Which possible outcomes do you prefer? Think about what it is that you want for your life right now and also for the future. As you go through these exercises, look for what gives you a feeling of peace. Peace is what will help guide you. Grandmother Willow, let your intuition guide you. Let's get one more. Get lost. I'm gonna take that one too. Get lost. Fall deep into the realm of imagination. Beauty and the Beast. Where they dance. Have you ever gotten lost in your travels only to find an unknown treasure along the way? A treasure that could only be found if you had not known your way? As adults, we pride ourselves on knowing the way we should go and following it. But as children, the way we felt we should go was always the way we found ourselves to already be. There is magic in these lost places, for only when we do not know the way are we open enough for something unexpected to find us. If you have pulled this card, then it might be time to allow yourself to get a little lost. Be open to new experiences and allow for the magic of imagination to pull you into its world. Let your intuition guide you. Remember, I just said, let your intuition guide you. Like freaking Grandmother Willow. I love that. Let your intuition guide you in this practice. It could be through a new idea or a new way of viewing the world. It could be through creating a new piece of artwork or writing an untold story or buying yourself a box of freaking crayons. Let your imagination run free and do what connects you to the wonderment of childhood, where anything is possible and the extraordinary lies just around the corner. If you would like to physically explore new places and surroundings, remember to do so with navigational guidance and a way to contact someone for help if you become lost. I love how they had to put like a disclaimer in here. Like, seriously, that's like a disclaimer. Like, don't just go out into the woods and, hope for the best. Don't do that. Make sure you have a compass and a guide and a way to contact people. I have to put that in there. I just think that's really funny. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be laughing, but I think it's kind of funny. One thing that I want to mention is another way, if you have children, another way to connect with your inner child is to play with your kids, like play the way they play. I took my kids to the playground the other day and there was this hill and I was looking at it and I was thinking, if I was a kid, I would roll down that hill. And my kids have never, I don't think they've ever done that. So they started doing it. I told them, roll down the hill. And we had such a good time. I rolled down the hill. And one of my kids said, people are looking at us. And I was like, who cares? Let them look. Like, they're looking at us having fun. Like, we're your kids. I'm your parent. We're rolling down a hill. I'm like, it's weird that it's become a thing where it's not okay to be yourself, not my kids, but I'm talking about, that's how a lot of people feel. Like, a lot of people don't sing in public or dance in public or do things like roll down hills because of fear of judgment and things like that. And what I'm trying to teach my kids is, I'm thinking of that picture of me in my living room as a kid with my arms up like a rock star. Like, that's, when did we lose that magic? We shouldn't, life is too short to be worried about what people think of us rolling down a hill. And it's fun, and it makes you laugh, and it makes your inner child happy. So I'm telling you, swings, trampolines, water slides. We have You Are Wanted, and I want to read this one to you. Is that straight enough? Abandonment is a wound that many of us carry. It is a tender place within us that mourns at the prospect of rejection. Such a sweet heart beats within those that have experienced the pain of being unwanted. Oh dear. Be gentle with yourself in the presence of this pain. At our core, we all crave connection and to be drawn into the embrace of a beloved soul. The exercise for this card is quite gentle in nature, but it will require you to be exceptionally vulnerable with yourself. I recommend doing this in front of a mirror, but if a mirror is unavailable or if it detracts from your ability to complete the exercise, please keep this step. Find a comfortable place to reflect on a touch that speaks to your abandoned inner child. For me, this touch is when someone cups the side of my face. Once you have found the touch that brings to life these tender places within, give that touch to yourself. Let yourself fall deep into the feeling of your hands on your own skin, much as you would with a trusted friend or lover. If you are in front of a mirror, I would like for you to look into your eyes and tell yourself that you will never leave you, that you will never abandon yourself, that you will never walk away, and that it is you, beloved, and me until the very end. If you do not have a mirror, close your eyes and say these words. Know that you are your own home, and that is what is waiting within. Journaling prompt. How does your inner child feel after hearing you will never leave them? Do they feel loved and seen? Is there anything they need in this moment? And that hit me hard because that's what I tell you guys, is that as long as you love yourself and you know that you have your own back, that you'll never be abandoned. And that's something that's helped me heal my own abandonment wounds, that I know that I will always be there for myself, and therefore I can never be alone. And, I also believe in things like spirit guides, and I know that I have the support of the universe, which has also helped too. All right. So, let me look at this. I did a lot of crying. Somebody told me yesterday in my comment section that they come here for the motherly energy, and that just, I can't tell you how much that means to me. Just before I started this reading, my best friend and I were we don't talk about deep stuff a lot, my best friend and I, but we were talking about our relationships with our mothers and how we want to be different for our kids and how we find support in each other through the absence of our mothers, and that blood doesn't have to dictate what family is. Anyway, so I'm going to do this little spread, but with tarot. And I think I'll use this new tarot deck that I got for you. We have Ace of Cups, self-love, falling in love with yourself. See, when you love yourself, you'll always have your own back. You'll always be strong. Elephants could be symbolic. Elephant ring. So yeah, we're just gonna ask some questions here. We have the Eight of Pentacles, investing in yourself, investing in your own foundation, believing in yourself, believing in your skills. Maybe you're finding what your soul path is. Think about this person, okay? When this person was a little child, watching, like, just hear me out. Think of this person as a little child, watching movies where women wore grand ball gowns with hoop skirts, and she dreamed of someday being able to make beautiful dresses like that. And here she is, focused on what her inner child wanted. That's how I see that. It's it's putting energy into something that is special to you. Anyway. Okay, it was me. It was me that sat at home wishing that I could wear a hoop skirt. It was me. I used to watch like Seven Brides for Seven Brothers and the dance scenes and the hoop skirts, and I'd be like, man, I wish I could wear a hoop skirt. We have the Four of Cups here, and I want to talk about this Four of Cups because to me, it's very symbolic of how, as a society, as a whatever, I'm not using the proper terminology, we really have become unfulfilled with the things that really matter in life. And you see this person sitting here, they have everything they want and still they're not happy. They're covered, like, all of these material things, and still they're not happy. They still feel unfulfilled. And to me, that's the part of investing in yourself, healing your inner child, fills that void that you try and fill with other things. Anyway. We have Two of Wands. Who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? What path do you want to take? Two of Wands, looking at perhaps some of the ways you want to change your approach to life. Maybe you want to change the path of your career. The Two of Wands can be when you're looking at patterns that you want to change and release, things you don't want to repeat, so that you can move forward. Ten of Pentacles. Remember, one of these cards talked about a choice and saying, you know the way. And it could be, your soul path calling, your soul path, which will bring you long-term stability. Once you're on your soul path, you start to experience abundance. I truly believe that. I believe that a lot of, like, people who are musicians, whose music, they reach and affect many people with their music, they're living their soul path, they're doing their gift. Anyway, what are your inner child's needs or desires? Your inner child's needs or desires. So it seems to me like your inner child wants warmth. Your inner child wants to be able to put your boundaries down. Your inner child wants to have to stop protecting yourself, kind of like that you do not have to go it alone. Very interesting. Where's my book? Your inner child's needs or desires. It feels to me like your inner child has some type of authentic truth that needs to come through. So maybe you're not being your true authentic self. Maybe you feel like you are. But maybe you still have a hard time rolling down a hill in public. Maybe you still have a hard time standing up for yourself when you know that what you're standing up for, you believe in. I'm like I'm looking at this card in all energies, so I'm just going to flip it over. But, you know, to me, it feels like your inner child doesn't want to have to be so tough. You know, your inner child doesn't want to have to be so, like the Queen of Swords can be someone who keeps herself safe, who keeps themselves safe. And with the Knight of Cups here, it feels like your inner child wants to be more open-hearted, you know? Your inner child may want you to stop feeling and looking at things so logically with the Queen of Swords and open your heart and follow your heart a bit more and follow your intuition. Because the Knight of Cups leads with their intuition, they lead with their heart. They make decisions based on their heart and their heart alone. And it feels to me like your inner child wants more warmth, wants more love, wants more acceptance, wants to be able to truly be themselves. Since this is a soul tribe reading, it's a collective reading, I am going to get one more for this question. What does your inner child want? We have the Fool. So your inner child wants to be, your inner child is wanting you to be more spontaneous. Your inner child wants you to be more childlike. Your inner child wants you to let go of fear and fall into the unknown, you know? Now I'm hearing that frickin' Frozen song, Into the Unknown. You know, if you watch Frozen 2, she talks about a voice calling to her, and she says, if I hear it, but I don't. And that's like your ego saying, I don't hear that voice, I'm crazy. That's like, but it's still called to her, you know? And your inner child wants you to take a leap of faith into the unknown. They want you, oh my gosh. Hang on. Wide-eyed and innocent as a newborn child, the Fool takes his first steps on a very exciting journey, carefree, unaware of dangers, and ready to get going. He inspires courage, for he understands that every day is a chance to open up new areas in your life. Are you freaking kidding me? Again? Again with the mowing your lawn? They just mowed it yesterday. They just mowed their lawn yesterday. Please explain that to me. I do not understand. Bye-bye, birdies. He inspires courage, for he understands that every day is a chance to open up to new areas in your life, and that with that comes a mixture of anticipation, wonder, awe, and curiosity. So this is what your inner child is wanting. They want you to take this leap of faith onto this journey. They want you to go on the Fool's journey. They want you to magician, you know, manifest things. High Priestess, believe in your intuition. 3, embody the Empress energy. 4, know your worth, the Emperor. Build a foundation for yourself. 5, spiritually evolve, spiritually heal. 6, fall in love with yourself. Fall in love with somebody else. Fall in love with life. 7, Chariot energy. They want you to get going. Anyway, I could go on. I could go through the whole thing. There is this energy of your inner child wanting you to let your guard down. And I'm not going to lie, your inner child is coming through wanting love. Your inner child wants romance. Your inner child wants connection. We've got the Lovers on the bottom and the Fool. The Fool in romance is new relationship, fun, light romance. So it could be for some of you that you're ready for love. It could be that you've been on this healing journey for a while. Maybe, you know, the way that this progressed here, you are what you wanted. This is where you learn where you are everything you need. And once you learn that and you embody that and you live that, you are open to that abundance. You're open for love to come to you. And on the bottom, we have the Lovers. So You could have been someone who dreamed of grand love, dreamed of romantic love. And to me, your inner child is wanting you to let your guard down a little, be your authentic self so that you can attract in someone who matches your energy, someone who sees your authentic self and loves you because you love it. You know, once you love your authentic self and you can be your authentic self, that's when you attract in people that admire those qualities about you. And your inner child wants love here. It wants connection. Knight of Cups, the Fool, the Lovers. Your inner child wants love. And you know, to me, it's very symbolic that your inner child wants you to love them and yourself. What is holding you back from fulfilling your inner childhood needs here? What is holding you back from achieving this? We have the Two of Wands and Hanged Man. So there is fear of surrendering here. It could be that you're in no contact with someone. It could be that you already are in love with someone, but the approach needs to change here. Maybe you don't know what direction to go in. Let's have a look here. Two of Wands. What's holding you back? Lack of long-term plans for the future. So maybe you're not, it could be that you're not, maybe you're just living one day at a time. Maybe you're not making plans for the future based on other things. Maybe you're holding on, waiting for something to happen before you start living. And your inner child is saying, just jump, like just go for it. This is about not taking action. So what's holding you back? There's something you're not taking action towards, or this is about you. There's something you're not taking action towards. Perhaps you don't know which way you want to go. It also talks about unexpected obstacles in career. So you could have come to an unexpected obstacle. You may be unsure of what path to choose. Do I stay in the job that pays the bills, or do I go after my dream? This talks about procrastination. So there's an energy of procrastination. And I have ADHD, and ADHD people have procrastination. I'm not here to judge you, but it feels like there's procrastination about, I don't know, maybe your ability, your potential. Maybe you know what you want to be doing, but you kind of put it off. I'm not sure what that is, only you know, but that's the energy that's coming through. What actions should you take to help overcome the obstacles that are holding you back? I'm actually going to put that here. What actions to take to help you overcome the obstacles that are holding you back? Seven of Swords. So Seven of Swords is about, it's about, what are you running away from? What are you, Seven of Swords, that's an interesting one. I want to look, I'm being called to look in a different book. Interesting. Seven of Swords. Wrong way. I find people always put them in different orders in the books. Like some books, the pentacles are always in the back. So let's read this, because this is your advice. What action to take to help overcome the obstacles that are holding you back. And the Seven of Swords can be things that you haven't looked at yet, things you're not wanting to look at, things you're putting off doing, things you're avoiding. So there could be, you know, maybe inner childhood wounding is something, or healing is something that you've been kind of procrastinating about. Maybe giving up a bad habit or an addiction is something you've been procrastinating about. Maybe looking at some of your shadows, something you've been procrastinating about. So this is, let's just have a look. If you're planning to make a move or change, this card comes as a call to be extremely careful and strategic in your planning. So this is your action to take towards your procrastination. So be extremely careful and strategic in your planning. The airy qualities of swords sometimes give us spontaneous ideas, but that doesn't mean they're all worth acting on. Sometimes our ideas require careful planning before executing. This card could also indicate that you are indeed acting in the highest and best interests of yourself and others. So this is telling you to act in, what action can you take? Act in the highest and best interests of yourself. And this card says it may seem when you're doing that you're being dishonest to others, but you do it anyway. And I'm not meaning that as like a bad thing. I'm saying, it says here, if you know something needs to be done, your actions are necessary, even if not everybody agrees with them. I'm just going to use myself as an example again. I just do that because I don't like using anyone else for an example, if that makes sense. But for example, in my healing journey, when I needed to move forward, I had to make decisions and set boundaries and take a leap of faith on my own journey. And it didn't make sense to my family. They thought I was acting manipulative because I wasn't, it's so hard to explain without going into the whole history, but there was manipulation, there was, back and forth fighting, and my therapist advised me when I was ready that it was time to act in my best interest for my highest good and walk away from that situation. And immediately when I went no contact, of course, I became the problem. It was me. My family viewed me as being like Seven of Swords energy, but what I was doing was for my highest self and my highest good, and for those involved around me, like my partner, because my partner was sucked into the drama as well. Anyway, soul tribe reading, much holy. So regardless of the nature of your planned actions, taking the necessary time to plan is imperative. So this is telling you, you do need to take time to plan some of these things. You do need to take time to put some of these things into action, is what we're seeing. You can't just say like, maybe next week. Again, I'm the queen of procrastination. Maybe I'll work out. Maybe I'll start next week. Oh, it's next week. Oh, well, I'll start Monday. Friday comes, I'll start next Monday. Let's get another one for this one. What action can you take to help overcome obstacles? King of Wands. Listen, there's a lot of energy about you choosing yourself, you doing what's important to you, you making yourself the main character of your own story. Stop worrying about what other people think. Stop worrying about what will happen if you choose you, choose you. The King of Wands is someone who has no problem choosing themselves, putting their interests first, their things first. So choose you, even if that doesn't look okay to other people. Because, and I'll tell you guys all the time, a lot of us were raised that if we are to think of ourselves, and I'm not talking about in a selfish way where, you ignore everybody else. I'm talking about in a way where you do what's right for you. And a lot of us were raised, if you do that, that makes you selfish, which is not true anyway. And there is perseverance here. Look at this crowd here. The Seven of Wands can be having the perseverance and strength to stand up for what you believe in, very similar to the Seven of Swords. Even though there's other people trying to bring you down, pull you down into that lower vibrational energy. That's exactly what that is. This energy is about, I believe in this and I'm going to continue believing in this no matter what you lower vibrational people say. Perseverance, rising above adversity. My cat is trying to get a tarot card. That is so funny. He's over at the table going like this to the tarot cards. I know, I saw you. It's okay. You can continue doing your reading, Wally. The outcome of having these needs and desires met. So let's look at your outcome here, future outcome. That, bam. 3 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles. So when you fulfill the needs and desires of your inner child, you have 3 of Pentacles energy, which is collaboration. You collaborating with others, possibly making friends, collaborating at work, collaborating with other people to spread that message, whatever that message is. We do have long-term stability here, and we have the Lovers. And that's why I tell people, if you learn how to love yourself, if you learn how to love yourself and be enough for yourself, then you don't, and then you meet someone who also is healthy. Like, you call people in based on your vibration. And if you're in a low vibration and you're feeling like you're not good enough, you are potentially, you know, calling in someone who won't think you're good enough either, or won't treat you like you're good enough either. I could say so much right now about reliving, like how you relive your relationship as a child and other relationships in adulthood. Anyway, we do have 10 of Pentacles and the Lovers here. So it looks like if you listen to your inner child and you do what's right for you, and you stop caring about what other people think, and you are firm in your beliefs and you persevere, that you get exactly what your inner child is yearning for. Long-term stability, love, a reciprocal spiritual connection. 3 of Pentacles, maybe you meet this person at work, you know? Let me see, where's my book? 3 of Pentacles. I did not mean for this reading to turn into this. The 3 of Pentacles represents the coming together of different kinds of knowledge in order to build something together. Doing projects with partner, feeling like a team, love at work or creative hobbies, working as a team, collaborating with others. Beautiful. And it's funny because a lot of us who start this spiritual journey start it alone. We started choosing ourselves. We started alone. And we end up feeling like, you end up finding your people. You end up finding your community. Anyway, beautiful, my friends, beautiful. So is there any advice that you need from Spirit? Any advice that you need from Spirit? You've got this, my friend. You've got this. Strength. Believe in yourself. Harness that confidence. I'm actually going to bring out that other book. We have Temperance. Be patient with yourself. Look at your advice. That is beautiful. You can do this. I'm bringing out this one for this one. Strength. Strength comes in a variety of forms. Whoops. Strength comes in a variety of forms. Regardless of the form, when the Strength card presents, its energy has the power to change the world. This card calls you to be strong and, more importantly, to understand what strength looks like to you. Strength is ruled by the bold and bright sign of Leo. Leo reminds us to step into our power to inspire those around us. Are there areas where you've been holding yourself back? Queen of Swords in reverse. Your little inner child saying, I have a truth. Have you been holding yourself back? Now is the time to release any doubts and fears and let your voice be heard and your beauty seen. Yes, come out of that little glass container. I'm also starting to cough, which is symbolic of having unexpressed things you need to say. You are being called to face... No. Now is the time to release any doubts and fears and let your voice be heard and your beauty seen. You're being called to face your situation with courage. Are there cravings you've held yourself back from? Perhaps this card is calling you to face those desires head on. Your strength, desires, and ability to shine are infinite. Very interesting. And that's what I kind of saw when I looked at the childhood picture of me, thinking I was a rock star. I think I was even wearing red, a little bit of red maybe. My lion hair. I was like, look at that kid. That kid is not afraid to be themselves. What happened to me? And we have Temperance. The energy of the Temperance card is soft but direct. Temperance calls you to have a clear direction guided by your higher self but rooted in reality. The balance that Temperance calls for is tricky because it goes against our natural inclinations. Temperance doesn't ask you to spend every waking moment of your life in deep meditation. The energy of this card also doesn't want you to become absorbed by the pleasures of life. Temperance is asking you to strike a balance between worlds. With one foot in the water and one on earth, Temperance reminds you to be in flow while simultaneously rooted. The quest for spiritual truth can feel all-consuming at times. Truth-seeking Sagittarius is associated with this card. The energy of Sagittarius doesn't like fluff and calls you to get to the heart of every matter, again, seeking balance between the spiritual world and the physical world. So let's get... Whoops. I'm just going to get a few affirmation cards for you, my friends. So let's see what Spirit has to say. Show up as your highest self. Whoops, you're naked. Tigers, divine feminine. It's also interesting because we have a white tiger and a black tiger, or what appears to be a white tiger and a black tiger. Very symbolic of temperance, balancing your divine feminine, divine masculine energies. I'm also seeing the Hierophant because we have this staircase and enlightenment. So really listen to your intuition, you know? I'm actually going to grab the book for this. She's naked though. It's funny what can... Whoops. It's funny what's like that little amount of nakedness on a tarot card. Not allowed. Just give me a moment. There it is. I'm dropping stuff and everything. 31. Show up as your highest self. These are messages from your highest self. Dear human, you know you can be so much more. You know that you are already so much more. You just need to step into that version of yourself. Strive to be the best self in all that you do. That is something you will never regret doing, but will regret not doing. I'm sure that's fine. Everyone in your life is teaching you something. Are you learning? 25, Hierophant energy. High Priestess and Hierophant energy. And if you can see through the veil, you can see the lessons that each person is teaching. I can even see when my kids are arguing. I'm like able to tell them, like, this, guys, this is what's happening. I'm like, and I try and point it out to them what's actually happening. Anyway, every single person you ever met in your life was a teacher. Every single person in your life at this present moment is a teacher. Through each and every interaction, you are presented with an opportunity to learn about yourself and the world. We have 18, Divine Feminine Energy. The love within you is infinite. Share it freely with the world. You come from a place of eternal love. At any given moment, you have access to that infinite reserve of love. If you open your heart to it, you will never lack it. Do not hold on to love, for sharing it with others will only magnify it, not take it away. Beautiful. All right, and I'm going to get you a couple of these affirmation cards. Look at what's on the back. The universe has my back. And I was talking about how I said that when I was reading this card. Interesting. I'm just going to take it right out. No, you don't want to come out? There you go. I'm unapologetic about what I desire and trust that what I focus on will grow. Again, being your authentic self. Being unapologetic about what you desire. 7 of Swords. In every moment, the universe is conspiring to bring me toward right-minded thinking and the energy of love. We have the universe has my back. When I lean toward love, I am led. And the moment I realign with love, clear direction is presented to me. There's a lot about love in this. Your little inner child, you know, wanting to be loved. Anyway, I'm going to end it here. I apologize for all the tears. I'm sending you guys lots of love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day. Love and light. Bye.